Big Questions with the Dead Milkmen.
Greetings, Gherkins, and welcome to the Halloween edition of Big Questions with the Dead Milkmen. Hang on a second. What? Well, you should have thought of that before we started filming. Well, just try to hold it till after the show's over. Folks, in the history of rock and roll, bands regularly would take another band's song, change the title just a little bit, and then they would have a song of their own. Most famously, Joy Division took Love Will Tear Us Apart by the Captain and Tennille, and they turned that into, they took Love Will Keep Us Together and turned it into Love Will Tear Us Apart. Also, we took If You Love Somebody, Set Them Free by Sting and turned it into If You Love Somebody, Set Them on Fire. And of course, Black Sabbath took the song Iron Pyrite and they changed it into Iron Man. And they struck gold. Some might say fool's gold. Ha, 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 ha. I don't get it. Anyway, tonight's question is more of a challenge. It is change one word, one tiny word in a song title and turn that song into the title of a possible horror movie. The example I used when I pitched this idea to the guys, folks, was I took You're Having My Baby by Paul Anka or whoever, and I changed that to You're Having My Baby, sort of like take on the King Solomon thing. I wonder if the woman who said, go ahead, chop the baby in half ever had any more kids.
Depends on the state.
Yeah, it just doesn't seem that wise to me. Anyway, what if they both said, just cut it in half? I'm sorry, getting back to this. Please tell us something about your movie. You can tell us what the plot is, the stars, the director, whatever you got, we're fine with it. Okay, so the one I came up with was I took Kate Bush's The Man with the Child in His Eyes, and I made it The Man with the Child in His Basement. Now, I know what some of you are saying. You're saying, Rodney Anonymous of the Dead Milkmen, you've taken comedy to a place it was never meant to go. And I would agree. I feel a little bit bad about it, but I do want to kind of see this movie. It would star Kate Bush because it's when I was young in the 70s, they would take songs and turn them into movies all the time. Like You Light Up My Life became a movie. So Kate Bush will be in the movie, and a lot of people are into her now because of Stranger Things. And she'll be starring with Ethan Hawke from Black Phone. In fact, the plot is going to be quite a lot like Black Phone. So much like Black Phone, you'll understand why several lawsuits will be pending. And I'd like to have it directed by the great Alan Ormsby. Alan Ormsby, who of course directed Children Shouldn't Play with Dead Things. The man is a hero of mine. Okay, we are now going, Joe's going to tell us what song he perverted and twisted into a bad thing.
I took the Eagles classic Hotel California and turned it into Hotel Charcuterie. Charcuterie, that's it. I turned it into charcuterie. That's what I was trying to say.
What is charcuterie?
Charcuterie. I practiced
like
earlier today.
It's like a meat and cheese appetizer plate that you get
A
at a
charcuterie
lot
board.
of Italian restaurants.
How is this a horror movie?
Because it's a horror movie because it takes place in the late 50s and it's main characters are the Gibson family, a family that's going on vacation. This is probably going to be way too long for this. Anyway, long story short,
Wait.
the husband wants to get off the interstate, which is relatively new, and see the bypassed towns, and they come across this old hotel and they decide to stay there, and they have an awesome charcuterie board free at happy hour maybe, and it's delicious. And but later on they find, I guess the older son, because there's a son and a daughter, who's sneaking around, finds out there's a little secret, or we find out, I don't know who finds out. The audience finds out that the hotel is managed by cannibals basically, and they take certain guests before they check out and get into the rooms and smother them and turn them into the charcuterie board. So What? Yes, Rodney.
Is Rory Calhoun in your movie?
I didn't think about who's going to be in it.
Because that's the plot of Motel Hell.
Because maybe, oh, it is. It's a
Yeah, that's Motel Hell. Yeah.
I haven't seen that movie, so I guess I'm going to get sued. But it could be a slasher movie, a suspenseful movie. I don't know. Maybe I'll have to watch Motel Hell in order to figure out how to keep it.
Oh, you should see Motel Hell. Motel Hell is fantastic.
In fact, I could have changed. Oh, that's changing 2 words. Hotel. I could have made it Hotel Hell. Hotel Hell. But no. Anyway.
You could have done like Heartbreak Hotel, but called it like Spine Break Hotel or Neck Break Hotel.
Anyway, you'll have to see it to see if the family escapes or not. The son doesn't.
This will be on Netflix, probably in a day or 2.
Maybe
Netflix.
Rob Zombie will do it.
Yeah, I'll be sitting there like channel surfing. Like, didn't Joe just come up with this 2 days ago?
All right, Dan.
So mine is called Werewolves of London, but it's WEAR, and it's about this guy who finds a fancy shirt in the trash, and he's a model, and he puts it on, and he turns into a werewolf, but only when it's full moon. And he's got to eat kids and stuff. Werewolves got to eat. But he's like a hit. He becomes a hit all of a sudden as like a fashion model. And then he gets into like TV shows. He's like known all over the place. And only certain people know about his habits as a werewolf. But this one time he's traveled over to another continent. He's kind of jet lagged. He forgets that, when the full moon is out, he turns into, so he turns into the werewolf, and, he's eating kids and stuff, and people see him and they are like freaking out, but then they grow to love him and accept him. And everybody just locks their doors when it's a full moon, when Mortimer is out. Mortimer is the name.
Gave him a name.
And I was thinking maybe this sounds like something like the Farley brothers would direct. Something like really ridiculous. And I guess Jim Carrey would be in it too. Maybe he would be he's too old to be but yeah, that's I don't know. And this is my poster for it.
Yeah, you might have to scan that and send that in when we do the thing.
I don't think anybody needs to see this ever. But that's fine.
Have you seen In Fabric yet? The movie In Fabric? It's a horror movie about a haunted dress.
Ooh.
Takes place in the 70s. Yeah, I'm going to recommend that too. Going to be a lot of horror movies recommended, folks. You're going to want to keep your pens and pencibles near. Okay, I like that, Dan. I like you gave him it didn't have Joseph Gordon-Levitt in it, but it's still good.
Know what? I werewolves are my favorite like Halloween thing. And I had to use it somehow. And for some, I always thought you always go to like Werewolves of London. And I was like, oh, I'll just change it. And when I thought of spelling it differently, I was like, all right, so it's like changing the word, but
With the exception of the movie Lichen Colony, which is the worst film ever made, it is almost impossible to make a bad werewolf movie.
You know what's great? Ginger Snaps.
Ginger Snaps, Dog Soldiers, Company of Wolves, they're all fantastic.
Yeah, I love werewolves. I'm not saying I am one. I should shave soon. So that's all, folks.
All right, folks.
Lycanthrope.
So I chose the song Toys in the Attic by Aerosmith, and I changed it to Terror in the Attic. It takes place excuse me.
Good idea. Cheers.
In a desolate house with a sinister past and a mysterious lights in the attic windows. But it proves to be an irresistible dare for co-eds from the nearby Bartholomew College. Everybody at the school is talking about breaking into that old creepy house and going up the attic and making love or something. The movie would star Steven Tyler as Nana, with Sophie Turner and Ansel Elgort as Bobby and Will, the two young lovers. And of course, TV's Frank as Little Timmy. And this being a Quinn Martin production, you know the production values are going to be top notch. So what happens is Bobby and Will go to the house. Little Timmy is wandering around. He's kind of like this demented little man who sort of takes care of the house and yard, but nobody's quite sure, you know, who he is. It turns out that he's the grandson of the Nana who lives up in the attic. And little Timmy, when he was small, killed his parents, and Nana upstairs took the bodies and, you know, began to eat them. So what Nana does is she lures Bobby and Will upstairs with drugs and Werther's original caramels, and fattens them up with mystery meat pies, and then kills them and turns them into more meat pies for the next unwitting souls who venture into the attic.
Did we all mention eating children in our?
I think children, except for Joe's, had a rough time. No, they had a rough time. So it's kind of like if you combine Ty West's House of the Devil with Black Christmas, and also that weird film where no, I'm doing it. Where they give the hippies the meat pies with rabies in them.
So anyway, that's my movie. All right, recommendations.
All right. Now I'm freaking out because I think I've got. Okay, a recent article in the New York Times of London said the perfect gift for your neighbor at Halloween time is a flaming bag of dog shit on their front porch. All right, I'm going to recommend, it's time for music you won't see on the radio or hear on TV. I'm recommending a band from Philadelphia called Night Sins. They're very, very spooky, and I'm going to recommend their latest album from 2022, and it is called Violent Age. Now, the next thing I'm recommending, I spend about 3/4 of my waking hours trying to rearrange my home studio, so I discovered these. These are what look like books, but they're storage. Yeah, and you can put all sorts of things. I've got a groove box in this one. And they make smaller ones.
Ooh.
So I'm pretty pleased with that. All right, so speaking about decoration, F. Scott Fitzgerald once said, "The very rich are different from you and me." And they are. They don't know how to decorate their homes. And nothing proves this like Architectural Digest's Open Door. Open Doors, where they go to rich people's homes and they say, "Show us what you've got." And they've all decorated from Century 21. It is horrible. We're clearly not taxing the wealthy enough. These are some bad decisions. So what happens? And a lot of these people are internet influencers. So you know it's good. And stuff like, "Oh, well, this was a sacred object to the Dugugu tribe, but I've got it now. It's mine." Also, by the way, if you've ever wondered why they chose Bryce Howard to play a blind woman in M. Night Shyamalan's The Village, it's because clearly they looked at the way she decorated her home and said, "This woman is visually impaired. It is not good." The other one that other bit of hate watching that I found around the same time is from Vogue, and it is called "Inside a Designer's Handcrafted NYC Apartment Filled with Wonderful Objects." This is basically an episode of Portlandia come to life. You've got to see it, people. I mean, it's like, well, we made these handcrafted chairs with 3 legs, but if you don't sit in them the right way, fall over. So I can't, I heavily recommend that you hate watch those two things, but also check out the Night Sins album because it's good, it's spooky, it's Halloweeny. Bob Dylan can be spooky, but he's spooky in a different way. So that's my recommendation.
I recommend a website called Cagle.com. It's a collection of the latest political cartoons or editorial cartoons, maybe they're called that. And I don't know, picture has 1,000 words, they say. You can get a lot of entertainment from it. And you can also get sign up for emails to be sent to your inbox of the top 10 political cartoons each week. So it's pretty cool.
I like that guy on The Onion who does the right wing parody of the right wing cartoons. The ones with, sickos. Ha
ha. My turn. I would recommend, Halloween's coming up, and today is Saturday morning. Oh. And I guess by Monday it'll be Halloween. So I would recommend getting a body length black suit that zips all the way up and just walk around neighborhoods on Halloween. No bag or like pillowcase with candy, but just walk around like where kids are and like people are. Don't go up to any doors, just walk around. Who knows, you may see me doing that. But you will never know because it zips all the way up. And it's just black, like skin tight kind of suit. Like, something like they would wear for like on a stage so you couldn't see them, like Lion King puppetry.
It reminds me of that Mr. Mainway thing, Johnny Invisible Pedestrian. Remember, they're like a child could get run over. Kids are smart. They're not trick-or-treating up on the highway, knocking on windshield.
Well, I will recommend not crossing streets, unless you have one of those glow sticks around your neck.
Well, I would like to recommend a website, Merlin Mann's Wisdom Project. These are things that he's collected for him to remember and think about as he states in his opening. None of these items is true for every person or for all times. I'll just cite a couple of favorites of mine. Whenever you're not sure what to say, either say nothing or ask a question. 2, always make all the bacon. 3, generally avoid clothing that's more interesting than you are. 4, order more appetizers and fewer daily specials. And 5, open your mail over the recycling bin. That's it.
Wow.
That was an exciting episode. Everybody coughed, including me. All right, people. That's all the show we got for you.
Don't get
I would say have a safe Halloween, but a safe Halloween is a boring Halloween. Try and get your neighbors to give you multicolored fentanyl. I know it sounds ridiculous that people would come across the border, buy a house, buy a bunch of fentanyl, and give it away for free. But darn it, the people on Fox News are telling us it's happening. And it's up for them to believe in.
Go scare people, walk around in a black suit so you scare people. People should be scared on Halloween. I think it's all about like making people vulnerable.
You take enough fentanyl, you will put on a whole big black suit. We're not telling you to take fentanyl.
You'll get a body bag.
Yeah. Body bag. All right.